Good morning everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm glad you're here. Today I thought I'd talk a little bit about how we store water, especially when we are going off grid, and how much water capacity we have in the Kombi. Today we are at a house, we are staying with friends and family, enjoying some quiet time. We've been away for a while, so we're catching up. And it is a very overcast day today. It is actually supposed to be 30 degrees. But I think the clouds are rolling in early today, so I'll try and get this done before it decides to start to rain. So when we're traveling, depending on where we're going and whether we'll have access to water, will depend obviously on how much water we carry. So I'm going to show you a few different places that we store water in the van. We sort of have a good idea now of how long water will last us. Obviously, if it's hotter, we're going to go through more water. If we are near a beach, we can have a swim in the ocean to wash off. If we're at the bush, we're more likely to want to have more showers. So it really depends on where we're going as opposed to how much water we are going to fill up with, because water is weight, and especially in the Kombi, we need to be as light as we can. Otherwise it's just too hard on the car. So generally, if we are going off grid for a few days, anything from 3 days to a week, we will store as much water as we can. And we will generally do that when we get closer to our destination so that we're not carting that water. Water is very accessible in Australia. It's very clean. You can drink pretty much Australia-wide out of the tap. We're very, very, very lucky here to have very, very clean water. So our water quality is not a problem pretty much wherever we go. We do carry drinking water to some places, and we've also got our UV water bottles to just zap the water a little bit to make sure it's a little bit cleaner. But other than that, the water is very, very safe. So let me show you the different storage ways, different ways we store water in the Kombi, and depending on how long we're going to be away for, depends on which storage we use. So let's go back out the front and I will show you the Kombi and the water storage. Okay, so we are currently parked out the front of where we are staying with family this week. We've got our nice little spot out the front of the house, and as you can see, we have access to water. So yeah, we really don't need to carry any at the moment, but let me show you the different ways that we store our water. So if we are just going on a trip where we know we're going to have access to water, and we're not going to be off grid, and we're going to be close to a tap and all of that kind of stuff, we really always make sure that we first have so this is our drinking container water here. So we always try and source as clean as water as we can, and we fill this jug up here. Now, if we are a bit sketchy about where we've got the drinking water from, when we pour it out of this jug, and we use one of these pumps, which I will show you in another video. I'll do a gadgets video. Let me know down below if you would like to see a gadgets video. We're pretty tuned in with all our gadgets now because we've been doing this for quite a while. So if that's something you would be interested, please let me know down below. So this is our drinking water, and we always pretty much carry this. And as you can see, even though we are at a house this week, it is full, ready to go. So we always carry that. Then underneath the sink, so here's our little sink. You can see that it's got 2 taps. That does not mean we have hot and cold water. We only have cold water in the Kombi. And to be honest, as nice as hot water would be, we really haven't needed it. We actually bought a little portable, like a portable water heater gas thing. And honestly, it was so big and bulky and took up so much room, and it took so much to set up that we haven't used it. So actually I'm going to sell it. So the reason we have 2 taps here is one of the taps is for the under sink pump. So when we're off grid and we're not connected to mains water, and the other tap is for when we are connected to mains water and we can run it straight through, and we don't need to run the pump. So that's what those 2 taps are. Don't ask me about all the technicalities and all the hoses and all that. That is more Darren's field and he knows more about that. But that's all I know is one tap is for when we're using the internal pump under the sink, and the other tap is when we are hooked up to mains water. So under here we have, let me just grab, under here we have, if you can see, is a 20, I think it's 20 litres, it may be 25, but I think it's 20. We have sort of another one of these food grade tubs, and that is pretty much full when we are traveling all the time. So we have that one full and we have that one full, no matter where we're going. Obviously when we're on the road, we use a little bit of water if we stop for lunch and all that kind of stuff, but we always like to keep that and that one full, and that gives us about 40 litres of water, and we can last 20 litres of water, drinking water, to cook with, to drink with. We can last, that will last us a good three or 4 days. Obviously if it's hotter we will drink more water, but yeah, that will last us a few days. The under the sink, which will be used to wash our dishes, you know, wash your face, brush your teeth, all that kind of stuff, that would probably last us, if we're really conservative, we might be able to get 3 days out of it. But to be honest, we probably go through it every 2 days, but we can stretch it out if we need to. So that is most of the water that we always travel with. That's about the minimum that we will travel with. Now, if we know that we are going off grid and we are going to need more water for showers, and long-term off-gridness, if that's a word, we will also fill our under the car tank, which is here. And that, it looks big, but it's actually quite thin, and that holds around about 30 to 35 litres in that tank there. So as you can imagine, we don't usually like to travel with that full because, you know, it's quite heavy. So we will only fill that if we know we're going to be off grid and we're not going to have access to water, and you know, we fill it up when we get closer to our destination, so we're not carrying that extra weight. We also have a solar shower, which would fill, once we fill that, that's probably about another 10 litres, and usually we will use that just to shower. And I can show in another video, you know, we've got our shower tent there and we connect a shower hose there and we can have a really nice shower. And that black tube there in the summer, in the sun, will heat the water, and then we can actually have a really, sometimes it's actually, we have to add cold water to it on a really hot day. That water in that tube can get really, really warm. So that carries another 10 litres. But we will still do one more thing if we know we are going off grid for a long time. Okay, so our last line of defence, when we know we are going to be off grid for a while and water is going to be very scarce, is we have a whole bag full of water bags. Now these are great because they fold down when you're not using them. We've never had any real problems with them leaking. One or two of them have leaked in the past, but they're very inexpensive and you can get them on, I think we just got these through eBay. So they're very inexpensive and we've got a few different types. So this one I think is 10 litres. So we have a few of those, a few 10 litre bags. And we have, this one is designated to drinking water, because a lot of parks in Australia, we're very lucky, a lot of parks have filtered drinking water that you can get. So if we ever come across a park with actual filtered drinking water, we'll fill up this bag with drinking water and we'll refill our other big tub as well. So they're all 10 litres. So just there, if we fill all these up, there's another 30 litres. Then we've got this big cube, which isn't fabulous. It does leak a little bit, but this is another, it's sort of a square cube. It's a bit all stuck together at the moment, but that's another, I think that's another 10 litres, that one. And then we've also got this other cube, which I believe is another 20 litres. So there's another 40 litres and there's another 20. So there's another 60 litres of water. If we really know that we're away for at least a week and we need water. And then along that, I've also got a couple of, and I don't use these very often because I find them very heavy, is these, the old-fashioned shower, solar showers that you heat up with water and you lie out in the sun and they will heat up the water. I wouldn't use these as water storage because I don't trust that they wouldn't leak. So usually what we just do with these, and these are left over from when we used to go camping many moons ago, what we would probably usually do with these is we would probably fill them from one of our other water sources and then just put them in the sun to heat the water up for a shower. That's probably the only time we'd use these ones. We wouldn't use these ones for water storage. So in all, let me think. I'll do the calculations and I'll put them up on the screen somewhere, but we could carry with quite a bit of water to last us quite a while. And I would say on average, we would probably use, we may not have a shower every day, even though most days I actually prefer to have a shower. But when we have a shower, we shower in very, very little water, probably 4 litres of water. And then our solar shower is 10 litres, and that easily can do us for 2 showers or 1 shower each. So we can go quite a few days, and if we know we need to be conservative with water, then we'll be conservative with water. So anyway, that's all the different ways that we store water for off-grid or when we're not off-grid. And if we're lucky, like we are at the moment, to have access just to the mains water, then obviously we just can connect to the underneath tank there and we can just have mains water. So that's how we do the water in the Kombi. I think that water is much more, you really need to look after the water first. The water is the first thing. We can go a lot longer with water than we can with power. We can always make more power from the solar. We can always, drive the van and use the alternator to charge things up if we get desperate. But if you run out of water and you don't have access to water, then you don't have a choice but to pack up everything and go look for it. So to us, water is the main thing that we always make sure that we have plenty of. So yeah. So thanks very much for sticking around for another video. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments and I will help you out, answer them as best I can. If there is anything else that you are curious of, there's lots of different things about the Kombi that people may be interested in finding out. Please also let me know. I'd love some ideas for some videos that people are interested in. I don't want to just film van videos that other people have done a million times before. I would like to do videos that people are generally interested to know about. So thanks very much, everybody. Look after yourself and we'll see you next time. Bye.